Welcome, stand-up paddle community. We're glad you've joined us, whether it's for the first time or if you've been here on another one of our Tuesday and Thursday interviews, 1 p.m. Pacific time, that's 10 in Hawaii and 9 Eastern. We hope to really share just some of the many amazing, interesting people in the stand-up paddle world. And there is a variety, and stand-up paddling is enjoyed in so many different ways. Today is no exception. We are going to be talking with Max Montgomery, who's had many different experiences in the stand-up paddle world, as well as hosting, starting nonprofits, and a film festival, something really different. Want to point out a few things. One, that Supconnect is where we're hosting these. My name is Kristin Thomas. We do have a follow-up Facebook group called Supconnect Live Discussions, and we would love you to join us there. This is such a great format, but it also does not allow for pictures or video or links. So we'll post all of that after interviews. Plus, you can find out who's up next week. So thanks again so much for joining us. And without further ado, I'm going to invite Max Montgomery. Hello, Eve. And I think there was a Jordan that went by. Sup Cruise Global. That sounds cool. Hey, Max.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, sounds fantastic. Hopefully you can hear me as well.
Perfect. Well, before this month, I never even knew you could do interviews on Supconnect Live or on Instagram Live, I should say. So fun, new way of chatting with people. How are things up north?
Great. We're starting to get some nice weather, which is fantastic. And
Yeah.
The beaches are now open, so very excited to get back in the water. Haven't been in for a while.
Okay, yeah, that will be. We'll talk about that a little bit more at the end, because it is really, we want to acknowledge where we are in the world right now. On the other hand, this is sort of an escape to learn about you and everything that you've done, and it's a lot. So we usually start kind of, how about a little background? I said north, but where are you? Kind of who are you, and how did you get started in stand-up paddling?
Yeah, well, thanks. I live in Santa Cruz, and kind of born in the water. Actually, the first beach I ever saw, I was 2 years old, and I saw the Santa Cruz main beach, and my sister had been feeding me sand from the sandbox for my whole childhood. So I just saw this beach. It was like, oh my God, look at this! I'm in heaven. So I think that's why I such a draw to Santa Cruz. And anyhow, been a surfer for years, and first time I saw someone on the SUP was maybe 2007 or something, and it just looked really fun. And I just, I think I told you before, what was awesome is that then the first time I tried to go SUP surfing, I was out at Capitola, and this guy said, hey, and he gave me some pointers, and then said, why don't you come, Saturday where everyone surfs over at Privates? And I was like, what? People inviting me to go
Are you a surfer and you're inviting me?
Exactly. So it was a very different experience than the traditional surfing. People don't say, come to my secret spot and come surfing, and people are not so generous with their tips and et cetera. And so anyhow, just the wonderfulness of the community. And then
Absolutely.
I've been helping, there's an organization in Santa Cruz called Ride a Wave, where we get children with special needs surfing and bodyboarding, and I kind of stumbled upon that, and literally opened up my heart as to the joy of sharing something that had given me so much joy in my life, surfing, and being able to share that with those who are not so lucky to get the opportunity, and to see that the children just literally, burst out of their quote unquote limits and do things that are amazing, and seeing parents say, oh, my kid can't do that, and then they're standing there with tears going, oh my God, my child is surfing. And then the power of a child who's taken on that challenge and surfing, and then now what else can they do in their life? It's amazing.
Yeah.
One of the things that touches me is we always work with a group that is children who are sight impaired, and to think about coming to the beach and just like, hearing that what's out there, and then 5 minutes later, and take me out into that thing.
Yes.
And surfing, it's just like levels of bravery and trust, and it's just amazing.
But all the senses are fulfilled surfing, so that's really neat for someone with sight impairment. The feeling and the smell and the touch and salt water, which we all are addicted to. Community, joy. Joy, I affiliate with you. That's such an important word in all the things that we're talking about today. So that nonprofit you worked with, I think, was part of the inspiration for founding a nonprofit, and I first met you through that one.
Exactly. And so I was in a startup for years and thinking that I would get rich. And unfortunately, timing is everything. The startup that I was part of did what Zoom does now, but we were only, 15 plus years too early. So,
Darn.
yeah. But so anyhow, when I thought I could get back into a startup or I could do something that makes a difference. And so another board member and I started Best Day Foundation with the goal of taking that model that Right Away had and bringing it to different communities. And so very proud to say that Best Day is in New Jersey, Florida, Los Angeles, San Diego, Ventura, Santa Barbara, and I'm sure I'm leaving out other communities.
I met you at Newport Beach at the Newport Aquatic Center. Yeah.
Exactly. And what's so awesome is that same kind of community that's in Santa Cruz exists in all these different places. And what it is just passionate people who want to share their love of the ocean, the water, activities and whatnot, and brings people of all ages together and of all kind of
backgrounds.
Exactly. Yeah. There's teachers, there's retirees, there's kids. We used to laugh. We had a rocket scientist, even rocket scientists come and volunteer. And so anyhow, this whole gamut, and I was even thinking about it this morning, is that especially in this day and age, there's all different beliefs, all different, political ideologies, and yet people are getting together for a common cause, which is to connect and share with other people. That to me is always
it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I didn't get the riches in my startup, but I feel that I got the emotional riches that can't even compare the amount of joy that I feel that I've been given by bringing these communities together, and then by seeing experiences, and then just there's so many untold things that happen. It's just create a possibility, and then who knows where that goes. And then later, having people say, "Well, thank you for showing me what's possible. I've created my own stuff, my own nonprofit that now does this thing and that does that thing, and then engages all these other people." And so, just by being people and by sharing our passion, we can have untold impact. And,
how that branches out and multiplies is fantastic. Such a synergy there. Yeah. But let's back up a little bit to you, because you have had far more adventures and you do these ultra things many times that I had no idea. In fact, I think I asked you at one point, did you live on the East Coast? Because I had seen you before. Well, the picture that we posted for this event, that's a good place to start. I think that's just an epic picture. Where is that, and what event is that?
Yeah, so that picture is from the Sea Paddle NYC, which is an amazing event. It is an annual paddle that's 25, 26 miles, although it's actually changed over the years. It started, the first one they did 28 miles around Manhattan. They've changed the course for safety, and it benefits children with autism and the environment. And it's an amazing event. Yeah. We start traditionally under the Brooklyn Bridge, paddle up the East River, across the Harlem River, and then down the Hudson River and end at Chelsea Piers. And I've done it 9 times, and
that's amazing.
It's just so amazing to be paddling and go, oh, there's the United Nations. Oh, there's the Yankee Stadium. Like, oh, there's a seaplane about to hit me. Oh, there's the ferry. There's the Love Boat. So it's really an amazing scenery. The water actually it's pretty fun. I think that was the first river that I'd ever been on. Those different rivers, and that the photo is of me coming down, the quote unquote last stretches, the last 12 miles on the Hudson. And when you break out of the Harlem River, it's the most beautiful part of the paddle across the way. The Hudson is very broad, and then the George Washington Bridge is kind of like the Golden Gate Bridge of, at least in my view, it's the Golden Gate Bridge of New York, and it's really majestic. It's really enormous, and those are the cliffs of New Jersey that you see. And so New Jersey always gets a bum rap. It's actually quite beautiful.
Yeah.
And that boat is especially beautiful.
Yeah.
And what's awesome is that I'd seen in years past, because I used to help organize the photographers for that paddle, I'd seen photos of some other people like that. And I thought, oh man, I want one of the photos. Those are so awesome. And that year I got my, quote unquote money shot. And the funny thing about that photo is that photo ended up saving my life.
And we'll get to that in just a moment. Yeah. But 9 years to have done anything in stand-up paddling is truly amazing. So Sea Paddle New York was early on the scene. One of the longest standing races there are still out there, actually. By the way, Arturo says best race ever from Panama. He just chimed in. And Maddie from Canada says hello. I know. June, another paddler, said that he lived right near. He saw that picture and was excited that it was right where he used to have an apartment back when he lived in that area. So it's great, and that now that I think about it, makes so much sense to me with your big heart that you would be involved in one of the very early charity-driven. I know that I never have made it there, but I remember at the early years they had a white party, and I thought, what an amazing, I just love the whole destination for a good cause, amazing scenery, amazing community and people, with a great event and party and whole weekend around it. And so I have found that's, I would say, my favorite races. It's not always about the race, although this one definitely with the scenery and everything, but it's about the community and the event and everything that goes on around it, and getting more connected with the people in stand-up paddling. Really fantastic stuff.
And the Sea Paddle. So this, again, the organization is called Surfers Environmental Alliance, that puts the paddle on. And just a grassroots organization who's raised, I think, more than $4 million through that paddle that they've given back to organizations like Best Day Foundation, like Paddle for Good, other organizations that support beach planting and beach access. And what's amazing, it's not, they've done so much for so many different organizations. Actually, they helped do what's called the Belmar Beach Bash, which is the largest event for children and families with autism. There's 8,000 or 9,000 people come to that each year. It's a really magical day for people getting in the water with Surfers Healing to go surfing, and then just kind of learning and exploring and connecting with each other. So
actually, one picture that I dug up that I'm going to post is Andrew Minchinsky, who's a fellow board member of the Industry Association, and he's early in the SUP paddle thing. Him handing you from this organization a check for Best Day Ever in Newport. So it is, the intertwining and interconnectedness is amazing in stand-up paddling. You mentioned another crossing, more local to us here in California, that you've also done more than once. That I always thought the New York one sounded so hard, but you said you thought this one was harder.
Actually, well, there have been some hard paddles, let me tell you. In 2013, I think we had 20-mile-an-hour winds on the last 12 miles, and I was, at different times on my knees, laying down, prone paddling, and just cycling through all
survival,
that. Survival, just getting there. But it was awesome, and just again, great camaraderie in all these paddles, and then the New York police boats were making sure that we were safe, and they just kept looping back and he's still doing it. But the Tahoe crossing, which is another really wonderful race, and the thing about SUP that I love, again, I'm a longtime surfer, and the different perspective I get by being on the water, standing up, it's just different. It's a wonderful thing of seeing deep into the water. Certainly in the first couple of years I did it, I saw more wildlife than I did in 30 plus years of surfing. And so all the magic of that. And then where I go in the water up the coast, and it's just me. And I'm like, wow, where are the people? It's so wonderful to have that experience. And, the ocean is just so awesome. So anyhow, being able to do that in other places like Lake Tahoe, what a gorgeous place that is. So the Sea Paddle, we have the benefit of having currents. Sometimes the currents are usually the way that it's timed is timed with the tide. So we get an outflowing up the East River. Harlem is kind of maybe slack, and then we get a downward current on the Hudson, although there may be some headwinds. Lake Tahoe, if you don't move, you're not going anywhere. So there's no current. And
you can always hope there might be a little wind for that end part, but it could be in any direction.
It could be not
consistent.
First year I did it was a headwind, and then last year there was 0 wind. It was awesome, and just such a beautiful thing. And once again, community, all about awesome communities coming together, and just in general, the paddling community, I think, is one of the most welcoming. And so that's been awesome to share my new nonprofit, Paddle for Good, which focuses just on paddling, and we get children with special needs at paddling, do some lawn games, SUP, kayak, some lawn games, very similar to the Best Day events that you've done, but we're doing it. Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice.
I wear it a lot, but it got a little too warm for it. And your hat. Yes. So amazing. That's an amazing organization. But before we leave Tahoe, there was something else special that happened there. You met someone. I think for the first time.
Well, actually, I said that photo saved my life, and that photo was the impetus. I have so many paddling friends, and they always say, like in California, who always say, "Oh man, I would love to do that New York paddle, but I never know about it." And so, when the 2018 date came out, I posted that photo that you saw of me, which I finally got, like what I thought the quote unquote money shot, and said, "Okay, August, whatever, 2018."
Come on, all you people. Yeah.
Come on, you people. I tagged all of my friends on Facebook, and this woman pings me out of nowhere and says, "You don't know me, but we have two common friends, and I'm interested in that because autism has a special place in my heart, and yeah, I'd love to do that." And I thought, oh, wow, cool. Well, you might also be interested in Paddle for Good. And anyhow, we texted and stuff, and actually met in person at Tahoe, the Tahoe Crossing.
Yeah.
That was the first time.
Well, you two are very special people, so we're happy that two wonderful members of the Paddle Ohana now know each other and know each other well.
I was very, very lucky because we, again, kind of built our relationship as friends, and about 7 or 8 times paddling and looking to do events for Paddle for Good. I confessed to the woman, Andy Trainer, that I had a mad crush on her, and she said, "Oh, well, I do as well, but I'm in no rush." And then the next time, 2 days later that we got together, I basically, we stand-up paddle surfed all morning. I was kind of teaching her how to stand-up paddle surf. We had a great time. We were at Privates, that kind of stand-up paddle surf spot. And as I was paddling back, I fell off the board, and I was like, "Oh, that was weird," just kind of bouncing off the pier. And then when I got on my board, I was like, "Oh, a weird little burning right there. What's that?" And then in the back of my head, this little voice said, "Isn't that the sign of a heart attack?" And then I was just like, "What?" I just ran 10.4 miles the night before, and so in one paddle stroke, I forgot about that. But walking up the beach, I literally walked up the beach, and I was carrying her board, and boom, fell over dead. And luckily for me, Andy knew CPR, and she was on me, giving me CPR in literal second. And I was without a pulse for like 17 minutes. Came back after the 6th shock in the ambulance. So she thought I was dead. They took me away. And so, I was very, very lucky. Ended up having a triple bypass, which is insane because, again, I'm quote unquote healthy, but familial heart disease. And anyhow.
Pay attention to that, yeah. And I just have to stop because I think a lot of people listening might not know you as that person, but that video was viral and it was on the news and it went all over the place. And it looks like a reenactment. I know the first time I saw it, I thought somebody was reenacting what had happened, but somebody happened to be filming the sand. You walk into view, you fall absolutely flat, and then there's a moment of silence, and then she runs up, and then other people do. And there's birds all over the place.
Yeah.
It really doesn't look like it's real, but it was actually you having a massive heart attack because she was there, got you CPR, but then the help came. Your first kiss of your new friend was her saving your life. That's such an amazing story. So basically the guy got a brand new camera and he decided he wanted to test his lens. And so he set up a tripod. He was kind of pointing it all around and just said, "Oh, let me just aim it at the pier." And there's some crashing waves and a bunch of seagull. And then he set it up onto a wall. He was like 200 yards away having breakfast. Oh, really?
He didn't even know.
Oh, I don't think I heard that. So he wasn't even watching through the lens what was happening.
No. The crazy part is when I was walking with the board, at some point I got tired. I'm like, oh man, I'm tired. I need to put the board down. And then I'm thinking, oh, well, this is our first official date. So I should at least, not be make it to the car. And so I kept going to myself, keep going. And then finally I'm like, oh man, I am tired. And I think I said, I got to put the board down. And that's the last thing I remember. I actually, in slow motion, put the board down and then just face planted. And if I, stopped earlier, I would have been out of the frame. And if I kept on going a little more, I would have been out of the frame. And it was just like the craziest thing. And then the guy said he heard sirens and stuff, and he came down and he's like, what? I just captured that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. But our hope, and again, the benefit to all of this is that we then took something that now obviously I'm incredibly passionate about because, other than some strange blockages and some strange arterial formation in my arteries, my heart is fine, and I quote unquote was healthy aside from that. And like if she didn't know CPR, I'm dead. And so that happens to people. And because of that, because of the fast care that she gave me, 0 heart damage, 0 brain damage. I'm able to paddle, walk, run, surf, etc. Like I'm back to good. So Paddle for Good, in addition to helping children with special needs, we have a program called Help a Heart CPR where we teach people what we call hands-only CPR, and it's just the basics that you need to know to save someone's life. So in 5 minutes, I could teach you the skills you need to learn how to do CPR, how to find and to utilize an AED. That's the thing that shocks the heart back into life. Mm-hmm. And it's so simple. And, the more people that know that, the more people that could be as lucky as I was in terms of being able to, again, I got a second chance at life just because I was in the right place at the right time and was with someone who knew CPR.
Yeah.
Luckily.
Very lucky. Yeah. And I think a year and a half ago you came down. We had you in San Diego at Hano Hano, and Andy, doing some of that. So it's neat how you're getting around. But you got yourself really busy a couple of years back with a new vision or again, I feel like these are all interconnected, but you expanded into something really different. You have put on a major event, a SUP Film Festival. That's right, that's the hat. Paddle for Good's on the shirt, Film Fest on the hat. And I was very lucky and honored to be a part of it. I got to be one of the judges, and it was, oh my gosh, just amazing to watch all the footage. There was a lot, wasn't there?
Yes. Yeah, no, thank you for being part of that. And so I'm a longtime fan of the Banff Mountain Film Festival, and that's an amazing festival that actually is shown worldwide. Well, there's a festival up in Canada. It's a week, and then they take all the films that are submitted from around the world, and then they create what's called, quote unquote, a world tour, and they bring that to locations all around. And all of your paddlers should go check that out because they're just amazing films that are about, again, kind of the human spirit, the beauty of the outdoors, and kind of conservation. And so I wanted to do the similar type of thing with the SUP Film Fest. I've seen little heres and theres of SUP films and thought, wow, what about pulling that together, much like the Banff Mountain Film Festival, and created the SUP Film Fest. And thank you for being one of the judges. We have also other awesome judges, Seychelles and Evelyn O'Doherty, a lot of wonderful, diverse group of Chris Aguilar, a lot of diversity there. And the goal with that, though, is to showcase the beautiful environment because, again, guys surfing a tidal bore in Borneo, people paddling from Florida, from Bimini to Florida, paddling around the Isle of Skye, etc. Just like all the diversity of where people paddle and the beauty of that. Also, the amazing people that do that. There's one of the films, Jonas
Letier.
Yeah, an amazing guy who had an accident that burned off his forearms, and he decided, I'm going to paddle now. And he's an amazing paddler, and just the amazing people, and also the environmental bent. like the one I was talking about, the Isle of Skye, a woman paddled around the Isle of Skye, a remote island in Scotland, amazing paddler, Cal Major, to showcase, look, plastic pollution reaches up here. And so, my goal is to expand what's possible, showing people that, hey, look at what paddling, the different places you can paddle, look at the amazing people that do it, and look at the amazing places that they go, and why it's important to have plastic conservation, why it's important to protect access to the waterways and make sure our waterways are safe and such. And so, anyhow, what's cool is that people have come to that like non-paddlers and like, wow, I didn't know paddling was like that. I want to do that. And so we brought it to other communities. And again, the hope is that each year we do more and more. And something I'm working on, and we'll just let people know that please go to supfilmfest.com or go to Paddle for Good, and that's paddle the number for good on Facebook or Instagram, and follow us. We're looking at putting together some kind of watch party where we can do this in this quarantine time, where we can share some of those films.
I think that'd be great, because a lot of people just don't know they're out there and haven't seen them. So they're timeless. So it doesn't matter that it already happened. People didn't get to see, and Zane and Bobo and all the people that a lot of people do know those, but they haven't seen the films that they've created or have been created about them, and all the many cool journeys and stuff. So I hope we'll put those also in the Supconnect Live discussions group, those links. But definitely you guys go like those. And I think I would love, what a perfect time to be having a watch party and to screen some of those if you're able to figure out how to do that. I think that would be fantastic. Do you think you might try to do it again, the whole thing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the goal, part of the thing as well is like with when the Fan Fountain Film Festival first started out, it was kind of like the only venue where people could showcase these types of things. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of, I'm a build it and they will come kind of person. And so with the Film Fest, it's like, there are a bunch of great films out there, but then also if there's a venue, there will be more great films that are going to be out there because people want to have them be seen instead of, put something out and it maybe dies on the vine out there on one of the social channels, but to get people in, and that's what's another great thing. It's like creates this rallying experience for a bunch of paddlers to get together, and then also get to bring their, significant others or their kids and say, hey, this is what I do. Here, come see a little bit of my world without, you don't have to get on the board. You don't have to come out with me, but you can see, look at, and then maybe someone's going to get inspired and like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to be part of that. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Itzel, how about a film from Peru? We just had somebody from Peru join us.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's very cool. Supconnect really has following from all over the world. So film fests and charities. Andy, the amazing story of you two. I'm sorry she can't join us. We wish her well.
She's on the front line.
Yeah, she's a specialist anesthesiologist, so she is in hospitals and very needed right now. So hoping for her safety and sanity and all of that. You kind of mentioned a message. I mean, through this whole thing, you have lots of messages, but if there was a takeaway that you'd want to give people besides the love of stand-up paddling, I think the word that I heard was community from you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's get involved in your community, however which way that is. And I get a little emotional about it, but my life was really forever changed by stumbling across this video of Ride Away. And literally, it was of the place that I learned to surf. And I saw, it was like these enormous surfboards, and it's like, what are those doing at Cowell's? They're like 12, 15 feet long, and then there's two people on these boards? What's going on there? And I was like, what, life vests and helmets? And then it just zoomed right in on the face of this boy with special needs. And the joy that he was emanating literally just kind of cut right through my heart. Mm-hmm. And that moment, that was 2001, and, I'm getting a little choked up now, and yeah, I mean, it was just such a beautiful moment, and I have been lucky enough to be part of so many of those beautiful moments over the years, and that was just simply by getting involved in my community. And the thing that I've learned from many other people since that time, and certainly for myself, is that they say, I get far more out of what I get than what I give. just by doing so. And there's unintended benefits of that. And just, together we all make a better world. And let's do that.
Absolutely. Love that message. Well, Max, Paddle for Good, SUP Film Festival, these things are still going strong. And we wish you the best in continuing that, and you and Andy. And it is strange times. You live in Santa Cruz. You did mention already the beaches are just opening up. I'm hoping that can be done safely, and especially with the weather improving and everything, and people will respect distance and all of that. But you said you haven't been able to paddle for a while, so you haven't been on the water yourself.
Well, I work has been really busy, so I work in tech as well, and so it's work never stops. Tech never stops. At least that I'm involved in. But I have a SUP ergometer, one of those. It's like resistance. It's like a wobbly platform thing, and you can set a tensioner. It's like a rower and whatnot. And so I've been doing that a little bit, but not enough. I've unfortunately been doing more of the snacking routine.
There's that side of it, but that's good. And it's good to hear different options of things too. That's neat. You have one of those machines. That would be a good way to keep the muscles active.
I've been trying to run as well.
Right. We will get through this together, and hopefully sooner rather than later. I know the people that we're talking to and are listening are addicted to the outdoors. So, but spring is just happening. Good and bad time for what's happening in the world. Such a strange time, but we are trying to make the best of it. So we really appreciate you coming on and chatting with us. Again, we're going to follow up on Facebook at Supconnect Live Discussions. Please come and join that group. Max, hope to see you in person soon.
Yes.
Maybe come down and sup surf at Santa when things are open again.
Would love that.
Yeah, my last guest, Lauren, we already made a date for that. That's something I think we're all looking forward to, is getting back to some of those fun places. But thank you again for your time. On behalf of Supconnect, I'm Kristin Thomas. We hope you'll join us another Tuesday, Thursday next week. We have Anthony Vela on Tuesday and Casey Rinkowski on Thursday. And please be watching Supconnect. We'll give you a little teaser. They both have incredible things to share. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
And everyone out there, stay safe and sane. Bye.